The DJI Mini 2 and the DJI Air 2S, which one's for you? Hopefully I'll be able to break that down in this video with a simple review where we can go through all the specs of both of these. So these two drones have been highly recommended by so many different YouTubers and so many reviewers, and I ended up picking up both of them, but I've decided to get rid of one of these. And I'll go through all the reasons in this video, and it may actually shock you. Well, starting off with the Mini 2. This was my first DJI drone that I picked up, and it has been absolutely amazing. I've had it for about a year. I've traveled so much. I've been to Hawaii twice with this drone and captured so many different things, and I absolutely love the quality. If you don't know, this is one of the smallest drones that DJI offers with a 4K camera that's 3-axis stabilized, so you're able to get super smooth shots. It's also under 250 grams, which in the US you don't need to register with the FAA. Of course, you still need to follow rules and stuff, but you're able to fly this around right out of the box and not have to worry about it. It is an amazing little drone that packs a massive punch, and it also is foldable, so you're literally able to put this thing into your pocket and not worry about it. Like, look at this. That's just incredible with how small this thing is. It boasts about a 30-minute flight time, 31 to 35-minute flight time, and it can also fly about 10 kilometers away, which is insane with like amazing quality. But now let's talk about the Air 2S. So I recently picked this up, and this one is quite more expensive than the Mini 2. You can just tell that this thing is menacing. It not only is a lot heavier, but it's just also a lot beefier. The motors on here and the blades are just a lot bigger. The body, the battery, everything. Like, here are the two batteries. This is the battery for the Mini 2, and this is for the Air 2S. You can just see how big this thing is, and it's super heavy. You also probably notice a lot of different cameras. Not only is there the main camera right here, but there's also 4 cameras right here, 2 facing forward, 2 up here, 2 on the back, and then also 2 on the bottom, and those are used for sensing. And it has DJI ADS-B, their air sense, so it's able to use computer vision to detect objects and other things in the path of this drone. So if you're flying into a tree or a wall, these cameras can actually detect it, and the drone's able to stop and wait for you to move it around, or it can actually automatically avoid some obstacles, which is incredible. The Mini 2 only has these 2 little sensors on the bottom for landing, so it doesn't just land when you press the controller down. You have to actually hold it down, but it does not have any vision sensors up front or in the back, so if you fly it into a tree, it is going to hit the tree. It won't stop for a tree. All of those little cameras are nice to have the obstacle avoidance, but the main thing with this drone is the fact that it has a 1-inch sensor. This little camera module is far larger than the Mini 2. It is able to capture a lot better low light, some higher quality video at about, I think, 5.1K, and the photos with this thing are incredible. That's one of the main reasons people want to upgrade, because with this one, you're able to pull out some great videos for social sharing, but when you're doing commercial work, this one might be the one for you. Another couple cool things with this drone is the fact that it has 8 gigabytes of internal storage. This happens to me all the time where I'll forget the SD card for the Mini 2, and I'll have to like run home to grab it. But with this one, if you forget that, you're able to record for a couple minutes or take some really cool photos with that dedicated 8 gigabytes inside the drone. Another really fancy thing on the bottom of this, it has a massive spotlight. So at night, my brother and I were able to turn this on randomly, and it just looks so cool, like an alien futuristic thing. This thing is also very bright. It has a bunch of little lights on the side and the back. It makes it so easy to navigate if you're flying in low light conditions or at night. So yeah, that's like the basic explainer of what these drones look like. I'm gonna have some quick footage on screen of both of these. Like I said, I did have this drone to record some really amazing experiences in Hawaii and New England and other places. But with this drone, I recently picked it up, so I wasn't able to capture a lot, but I'll try putting in some small photos here and there. Another really cool thing I love about this drone is the fact that you're able to do something called FPV mode, where the gimbal actually moves side to side, so it looks like it's actually like panning and tilting. It just looks so crazy. This drone is kind of fixed and it looks like a stationary camera. This thing can look kind of like a FPV drone when it's flying and swooping in, and that's a feature I wish the Mini 2 had. The Air 2S also does have about a 30-minute flight time, but I have noticed it has a shorter flight time than the Mini 2. Surprisingly, even though the batteries are larger, this just requires a lot more power to support the heavy body and the fast motors compared to this that can last quite a bit of time. And whenever you're picking these up, if you decide to purchase any of these, I'd highly recommend picking up the Fly More bundles. I know it's an extra $100 or $200, but honestly, when you pick up those batteries separately from the drone, each battery costs like $100 something. It's way cheaper to actually just get the bundle. You also get a charger to charge all of the batteries at once, so you don't need to plug them all in. I just highly recommend the Fly More bundles. Not sponsored or anything, that's just what I recommend because it's way cheaper, and having those extra batteries extends your flight time. I've went on hikes and stuff, and having 30-minute flight time is great, but if you're having it follow you or something, the batteries can easily get worn out. So by having like 2 more batteries, you basically get so much more footage. You can fly for like 90 minutes. That's like an hour and a half. And if you charge the batteries with a mobile charger, you're able to get even more. It's just insane. I guess leading into like the follow features, this drone does have some really cool features where it's able to follow a car or a person. You're able to do some really cool smart scene moves. And that was one of the main reasons I also wanted to buy this drone, because this one can do like simple things. It can't really focus on moving objects. It can do stationary, like point of interest, circles and like boomerangs and dronies and other things. But this drone can do it all. It can literally just follow you for like the entire time, just like recording, which is cool. I tried this a couple times in my car, but I do have an issue if you're planning on following cars with this, like if you're doing like a commercial or something. This only goes about 35 miles an hour. Now that might seem pretty fast if you're like driving on a road that's like 30 or 35 miles an hour. You think that this could keep up to you. But the thing is, this drone doesn't start and it doesn't stay at 35 miles an hour the whole time. If you're like a car moving, it'll stay at that slow speed. And then if you gun it and you're going like 35 or 25, this drone will probably be going like 10 miles or 15 miles an hour. It doesn't go full speed right away. And I noticed that. And I lost my car a couple times when I was trying to film with this. And if you go too far away, it'll like just zoom out the camera and just try getting an angle, and it'll still be going like 25-30 miles an hour. So that's something to keep in mind. If you really just want to get the following car movements, you might want to go with the Cine 3, which is like the expensive DJI drone, or just fly manual and not use those smart tracking modes. If you're tracking a human, this is great, but yeah, just for like cars and stuff, it's not the best. So which one am I keeping? That's probably like the biggest question that I still am like so upset about, but I'm actually keeping my Mini 2. So anticlimactic after I sold this thing up, but honestly, the big thing about this drone is the fact that it's not big. The fact that it's so small, and I don't worry if I'm gonna fly this up in a populated area. This thing is so quiet, people don't hear it when you take off and you're flying around, especially once you get up to an altitude and you're not too close to people. You can't even hear this thing. The Air 2S, you can hear this thing from like blocks away. This thing is very loud, especially if you're in like sport mode and you're trying to get some cool shots. It's just loud and people can notice, and it's just so much bigger. And when we're talking about risk, of course you don't want to fly over populated areas or places where you might crash, but accidents can happen. And if you fly into a tree or some act of God happens and like a bird attacks this and it just plummets to the ground, if this lands on someone, it would severely hurt them. This drone, if you were to crash it into someone, I got cut on my thumb. It cut my thumb up a little bit when I was trying to catch this, and it was just bleeding a little bit, but it didn't like rip off my thumb. Not saying this drone would like rip off your thumb, but this would leave a lot of damage compared to the Mini 2. And since this is just so easy to like shove in my pocket, I can just go hiking or on like a walk with my family and just like take this off to do some cool shots. I do appreciate the larger sensor for low light video on this drone, and I do appreciate the sensing, the fact that you're able to do obstacle avoidance front and back, but you're not able to do obstacle avoidance on the side. And I love those shots where a drone is following you from the side, but there's no cameras on the right or left, so it's not able to detect any objects, and it doesn't really let you fly like that. So yeah, that's my reasoning. The flight time is like a couple minutes shorter. I mean, that's not a big thing, but when I actually think about like how much I'll use this, I know I'll be using my Mini 2 more than I would be using my Air 2S. And most of the work that I do ends up on YouTube or social media. It's not going on a massive print. It's not doing other big things, so I'm not very worried about that. I do like this for photography though. The Air 2S has some really cool features. We're able to do like 360-degree photos or like vertical photos that are just incredibly long. It stitches like 3 or 4 photos together and it looks so cool. I know I'll rarely use the Air 2S and I'll use this way more. So that's why I'm keeping this drone and I'm getting rid of the Air 2S. That's my explainer. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this kind of helps you answer your questions. If you're making social media content and you're not actually selling things, I'd really recommend the Mini 2. And if you're just getting started, I recommend the Mini 2. You get to learn DJI's fly system, how to control it and stuff, and get some cool shots. And then maybe if you make some money with it, you're able to upgrade into something bigger like this drone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Check back for some other videos. Like I said, it is going to be sad to get rid of this guy. I took some amazing flights and some short photos and stuff, but I wish I could have had it for longer, but I know I won't use this in the end. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.